and get going if anybody else joins us. So yeah, great to see everybody and to see 31 people joining. If you don't, my name is Gary Milchman and I am from YI in New York City. Along with Genevieve Fitzgibbon, I am one of the co-chairs of the ANCOR Global Council. So it is nice to have such a great turnout, post Santa Fe, which was such a great conference and great representation by the ANCOR Global Council, both in our booth and also in our presentation. So I want to thank everybody who supported and helped with that. And I think, we're seeing the results as we've gotten a lot more interest in the Global Council, both in the presentation and the number of people who have joined in by signing the sheet or the QR code and now being a member of Global Council. So it's great to see everyone. Robin, offhand, do you remember, I apologize, do you remember the total number of people, additional people who expressed interest?
Yeah, I think I entered 43 new members post-conference.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So we always need, as we say, fresh blood and new ideas and great concepts. So, it also poses the challenge of I always find it becomes harder and harder to run meetings, especially Zoom meetings and remote meetings when the numbers of people go up. It's a little bit harder. And we'll have a brief discussion about that, about how to have future operations of these committee meetings and what might be the best forums to do it so we could be efficient with our time and also accomplish the goals of both our mission and what our new members would like to get out of it. So again, thank you to Robin for setting everything up in Santa Fe. Everything went so smoothly and it was great. It was just a wonderful time by all. So I know this is not everybody's always favorite way to do things, but I think we had discussed before, myself, Barbara, Robin, and Genevieve, that we did think it was important, since we do have so many new members, and this is first one, that we do take a moment for people to introduce themselves, where they're from, their organization, and what got their interest in Global Council or what their interest is. And then after that, I think our hopes are really just to talk about the topics of maybe starting 2 formal subcommittees that can work on topics and then report back in these meetings. So, I don't know why I'm apologizing, but I know people don't love to do introductions all the time, especially when there's so many people, but I think it's important. It's a great way of everybody to know everybody, especially since it's across the country from Hawaii to Maine. It doesn't get any further than that. So I'm not sure how we will do this. I see the first person on my screen is, so again, if I miss anybody afterwards, just jump in because it's a little difficult to go through this, but I see Rachit Pandey, who I remember from Santa Fe. Rachit, you want to do a quick introduction?
Thank you so much, Gary. And I did not expect to be the first one on the screen, but hi, this is Rachit Pandey, and I'm with Bayberry INC from California, but I work out of India, so it's about 8:30 p.m. here, my time. And I had the pleasure of hosting a study tour last year in India, and that's what got me interested in the ANCOR Global Council. And I'm looking forward to actively contribute here. Thank you.
Great, thanks. And it was nice meeting you in Santa Fe. It's good to see you again. All right, so I think I'm just going to use my list of participants because it's easier that way. So I'll go to Adam Herman. And again, if I pronounce name wrong or it's only initials, please forgive me.
Sorry, I literally just joined. What are we doing?
We're doing a song and a dance, everybody. No, just kidding. We're really just since we have so many new members and people joining for the first time, we're just going through the list and everybody just saying a quick note, their name, where they're from, and how they got interested in Global Council.
Great. Well, my name is Adam Herman. I work in Ohio. I see at least one other Ohio face on here with Diane. And the reason that I am interested in joining the efforts of the Global Council is, one, I travel a lot personally, and I've always had an interest in exploring more about how other cultures and countries handle disability services. I've also personally traveled to in Argentina. I actually met with some of their top federal officials just by reaching out to their consulate in Chicago. I thought I was going to see a provider agency, and they ended up rolling out the red carpet. So I ended up speaking with the head of their RSA equivalent in Argentina, as well as their delegation to the United Nations Convention on People with Disabilities. So ended up meeting with some very high-level federal officials in Argentina and had an incredible experience going throughout the country, sort of being shown all the things that they do, and it sparked my interest in potentially doing that in other places as well and having that
Great.
cultural exchange.
That's great. That's a great introduction, and we look forward to having you. So next up on the list is Donna Martin from ANCOR.
Hi, everybody. I am Donna. I am from ANCOR. Gary's right. I am fairly new to the council, but got involved sort of in consideration of my collaboration with EASPD. So I'm real excited to learn as much as possible from all of you.
Great. And also was one of our great panelists in Santa Fe, so thank you. Next, we have BJ Brooks.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning or afternoon. I'm not sure where you are. It's definitely Rochester. Good evening. I'm Bonnie Brooks, and I'm the interim executive director of the Maine Developmental Services Oversight and Advisory Board, oversees state services for adults with IDD. Formerly, I'm a retired CEO. Former president of ANCOR, and I've been involved with the Global Council since it was the International Council and even before that. The next experience that I will have internationally is with a couple of other Global Council members. We are going to be going to Rwanda for a couple of weeks in late August and into September. To study services for persons with various disabilities, and also to be there for the annual naming of the baby gorilla, which we can't wait to see and hear from. Thanks, Gary. Welcome.
Thank you, Bonnie. And we look forward, we will definitely put you guys on the agenda for post your trip to hear all about it. So take some good photos of the gorilla and all the services and all the information that you come by. All right, next up is Fauzi.
Hey, Gary, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I'm Fauzi Abu Hashish. I'm based in New York. I used to work for YI for several years at residential services. Then I took part in, so I would say, the Global Consulting Department. I do provide consultation services for some agencies in New York, where I work with them on conducting projects, and especially in the Middle East. We had a lot of work we got done with YI in Jordan and Saudi Arabia. And I'm really excited to be part of the Global Council. And I look forward to everybody to do some work in the Middle East and go out and do some work international, because there is a huge need actually for that.
Great. Thank you, Fauzi. All right. Next up, we have Amanda Karamba.
Hi, good morning. My name is Amanda Karamba. I'm located here in Maine, central Lewiston, Auburn, and this is my first meeting. Great presentation at the conference. It was great to hear different perspectives, both from international folks and national here in the States. I'm fortunate to be a part of the group that Bonnie just referenced, going to Rwanda. I'm originally from Rwanda. My family immigrated here in '94. And so excited to go over there and show them the beautiful country post-genocide. And it's really transformed to a thriving and developing country. But there's still a lot of work to do with folks with disabilities, especially children that have autism, and that number is only rising, and parents are besides themselves with resources and how to support their loved ones. So I'm looking forward to learning from this group. I have notes, pens to jot and absorb everything I get from this group. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. And next, I believe, is Anne-Marie Mayberry.
Hi, my name is Anne-Marie Mayberry. I'm from GMS in Southern Maine, the executive director here. I've been with the agency for 35 years. I've been on the ANCOR Global Council for several years. I too am going to Rwanda, and if I have my say, I'm going to name the gorilla Chuck. for memories that we shared together in India. But I love the Global Council. I love learning about culture and working in with people with disabilities in various countries. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Amy. All right, next up, we will go to Amy Brillinger.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amy with Shadowfax in South Central Pennsylvania. I'm a fairly new member to the Global Council, and I'm just really interested in learning what other provider agencies are doing and networking with everybody, and just really happy to be part of this group. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Amy. You don't know how much pressure it is going down this list, because every time somebody talks, the list moves. So I know I'm going to miss somebody on the list. I'm going to see if I can, get this right. I think, all right, let's go with, I think it's Anka Alexandra Merwin.
I get skipped. I am from Life Connections Specialized Support Services in New Hampshire. So shout out to all my New England people. I got interested in ANCOR Global after hearing the speech from Diane about her work in Romania and the orphans there, because I was a Romanian orphan who was fortunate to be adopted, and want to help get those kind of kids out. And I guess I'm walking, talking proof that if kids with disabilities are given the proper therapies at a young age, they can really succeed. So that's kind of how I got interested. And I also want to try to connect my individuals on my caseload with individuals all over, so they can have natural supports all over and learn about different cultures and just meet people everywhere, because they deserve that.
Great, thank you. And thank you for sharing. That's such a powerful story. All right, next up is BJ Brooks.
We had Bonnie introduced herself.
That just means Bonnie's sneaky. It means she spoke and moved her name in the list. I'm just, let's see, hold on. All right, Krista Bacon.
Hi, Chris Tabakin with PAR in Pennsylvania. We're a statewide provider association. I've been involved with the council for a number of years now, and involved in international work over the last 15 years in a variety of different locations. So glad to be a part of the group. Thank you.
Great, good to see you again, Chris. All right, Chuck Sweeter.
Hi, I'm Chuck Sweeter. I'm the CEO of Keystone Human Services. I've been involved with our international work in both India and Moldova for many years now, and also some of the international organizations that we deal with, like EASPD, who was at the ANCOR conference in Santa Fe, Zero Project, and some of the other organizations. So welcome to all the new members.
Great, thanks, Chuck. All right, Cindy Hayworth.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I'm talking to you from Chicago. I've been a service provider in our field for over 30 years, done service provision and consulting. I was on that trip with Diane to Moldova and Romania, and definitely impacted myself as well. Have done a number of other study tours, and I'm excited to see where the group goes from here.
Great, thank you. All right, Denise Cross.
Hi, everyone. This is my first meeting. I was fascinated by the session at the ANCOR conference in Santa Fe, so I decided to join. I am coming to you from a suburb of St. Louis, Missouri. We are a funder and we provide case management services.
Excellent, thank you and welcome. Diane Beestrom.
Hello, I am Boundless in Ohio. And, it's been mentioned a couple times that, I've been part of this group for a while, and it all started with my study tour to Romania and Moldova. And, so many opportunities to learn and to share both in terms of services and culturally. So I haven't always been able to attend these meetings, but I'm going to try to do better. Really happy to be part of this group.
Great. Thanks, Diane. All right, Heidi Manzer.
Hi, I'm Heidi Manser. I'm the executive director of an organization called Uplift in Central Maine. I've been a member of this group for several years and I've been lucky to participate in some of the study tours, and I'm looking forward to our next one in August to Romania. It's not to Romania, to Rwanda. I find my interest in this group is to learn and to share, and I'm so excited to see so many new faces. Welcome.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, Jennifer Rhea.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Rhea, and I am also with I Am Boundless in Ohio. This is my first meeting, and like others have mentioned, I was excited and inspired by the presentation in Santa Fe. My first exposure to working with people with disabilities internationally was about 15 years ago. I had the opportunity to do some work with children with disabilities in rural China. And I think that definitely was an experience that opened my eyes and sort of incited my passion for thinking about how we can support people all over the world. And then I also really think that as we look at the challenges in the US, that there's a really good chance that some of the solutions have already been developed or discovered or are being used at other places in the world, and we can learn from other people and hopefully find some really great opportunities from what other people are doing. So really excited to be here.
Excellent and well said. All right, Jim Alba.
Hello, I'm Jim Alba. I'm the president and CEO for Carry Services in Indiana, and this is my very first Global Council meeting. Our organization just recently rejoined ANCOR after being away some time, and so part of my goal is to kind of dig into all things ANCOR. I am on the board of representatives representing Indiana, and just have to tell you, my personal mission happens to be the mission of our organization as well, which is turning abilities into opportunities. And that doesn't mean just in rural, kind of not very diverse parts of Indiana, but it can mean making a difference potentially across the globe. I haven't been much of a world traveler, but I'm looking forward to learning the experiences some of you have had, kind of studying the opportunities for people with disabilities across the world, and then hopefully eventually maybe getting on a trip so I can impact people beyond just where I'm at here today.
Great. Thanks, Jim, and welcome back. All right, next we have Johanna Berglein.
Hello, everyone. I'm Johanna Berglein. I work with Gary at YAI in New York, and I'm the manager of international affairs. And in that capacity, I've been in this council for a number of years, and good to be here.
Great, thank you. All right, John Whitmore.
Hi, everybody. My name's John Whittemore. I work for Aspire Living and Learning. We are based in Vermont, but we provide services in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Maryland. This is my first meeting with this group, and I'm really interested in not only learning about services that are happening across the globe, but also services that are needed across the globe. So happy to be here.
Great, thank you. Okay, Karen Mukai.
Sorry.
Oh, it's
okay. Aloha, everyone.
And by the way, Karen, you're going to host the next in-person meeting.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we could all vote on that right now. And agree.
No. Well, I'm going to need someone to get me up earlier.
Yeah.
So I can get my brain working. This is my first Global Council meeting, and I was really, really re-energized, just really inspired by the Santa Fe conference and meeting so many different people. living in Hawaii, we tend to feel a little isolated. I know that's kind of a bad word these days since the pandemic, but it was just so interesting to hear how other states work with their people with IDD, and comes at a good timing because my organization, Abilities Unlimited, we are participating with our state on a number of waiver initiatives. We on an amendment, our biannual budget with the state, access rules, paperless initiatives and such, and I'm sure it's very common to all of you. So it's an honor to meet all of you from all over and to hear how your state is helping our people, all people with disabilities.
Great, and welcome. Next up, we have John Whitmore.
He already went, Gary.
Oh, here he went.
It was so good, I'll do it again.
Yes, it's okay. Then we have Lauren Tilgman.
Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. My name is Lauren. I'm the interim director of strategic communications at Inglis, which supports people with physical disabilities. I was in the IDD field for the last 6 years and recently transitioned. It's so good to see so many new faces, and so glad that, you know, the session during the conference made such an impact that you all wanted to come and learn more. So thank you for being here. And Gary, I can't remember, what else am I supposed to say? Oh, I've been here as part of the Global Council for a year.
Yeah. And not that we give out awards regularly, but Lauren was such a help in ANCOR. She covered that table and that booth so many times. So thank you for covering and leading the way there.
Thank you, Gary.
All right, next we have, it's just listed as L. Proctor.
Well, good morning, Gary and everyone. My name is Lisa Proctor, and this is my first meeting as well. I am excited to be here. The ANCOR conference was just mind-blowing. I think all of us can agree with that. And the session that we attended, the reason why we're all here is just the impact, the inspiration, and the opportunity to create change. So I'm with the National Children's Center, NCC, which is here in DC and in Maryland. And we provide services. We have an early intervention and learning center, and then we have community support and day services in our Maryland communities. You know, what also inspired me is I'm hearing all of these wonderful people from Maine. As again, I said, I'm from DC and Maryland, and my son went to the University of Maine in Bangor. And recent graduate, and he had an opportunity to just develop some strong relationships with so many others. One of his best friends is from the Congo. And then he has an opportunity to go to Australia for a job opportunity. And he said, Mom, this would be an opportunity for me to merge both the work that I do and what you do. And so I'm looking forward to hearing more about this to see if there's opportunities in Australia and the Congo.
Great, thank you. All right, next up we have Michael Klontz.
Hi, I'm Michael Klontz, Chief Operating Officer at the Guild for Human Services. We're in Massachusetts, so there's a lot of nice New England connections. I'm looking forward to building. First time attending this group, and same, I kind of really learned about the council from ANCOR, from the Santa Fe conference. The Guild is part of our strategic plan is to look at growth, not just in terms of kind of residences and number of people served, but looking at research and kind of innovation. And so I think this is a great place to be, to hear from all of you and kind of look at practices across the world. My own sort of passion is for international studies, international relations. So I'm excited to blend these two pieces together. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining. I see people posting notes already that New England's leading the way. I think between Maine and Massachusetts, all jumping in. All right, Misty Johnson.
Hi, my name is Misty Johnson, Arato High. I noticed, Gary, you didn't say my last name.
That's because it didn't show up.
Okay, it's Misty Johnson, Arato High. I'm new in a couple of ways. I am the Chief Operating Officer for NCC, which is out of the DMV. I joined NCC in August. I am new to nonprofits from the nonprofit world, and obviously new to ANCOR. This has been very interesting for me. I loved the presentation. And one of the reasons that I gravitated to this is that one of the things I'm not new to is advocacy, because I have a young adult son who is on the spectrum. So I've been advocating for a very long time. I've also traveled a lot internationally for both personal and work. And what I'm bringing together is that international travel, as well as my son, and my spouse is from West Africa. So when I look at that and look at the way that community kind of responds to disabilities in other places, I see this as a way to not just be the people who are taking opportunities and ideas and innovations to other places, but I'm really very, very interested in what we can learn from other cultures about how they adjust and support people in their community who are on the spectrum.
Great, thank you. All right, and I think everybody learned something already, because people were posting, what does DMV mean? Not everybody is aware of the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area, right?
DC, Maryland, Virginia. DC, Maryland, Virginia, but you did name my home state, Delaware, which is the best, so.
DC, okay. There you go. Well, soon it'll be under your auspice, maybe.
I was thinking Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yes, me too.
I was like, sorry about that.
All right, forgive me, did Pamela Fields?
Thanks. Hi, I'm Pam Fields from Mid-State ARC in Connecticut. I found out about the Global Council about a year ago, and been trying to stay connected and hear more what's going on around the world. So I'm real excited to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have, it just says Patrick from Dungarvan.
Yeah, apologies for not being the only one without my last name. I'm Patrick Brindle, Vice President of Operations with Dungarvan. I spent junior high years over in the Middle East, so I always had an interest in culture and history of countries beyond the US borders. But I'm really looking forward to this group and learning not only about cultures, but service deliveries, and, you know, maybe some tips and tricks, because we all get stuck someplace and I like to be unstuck. So that's why I joined in my first meeting. So I'm happy to be here.
Great, thanks, Patrick. All right, next up is a fellow New Yorker, Robert Budd.
Sorry, I had trouble getting off mute. Just wanted to say hi, and it's so exciting to see so many people. I was part of the board when we wanted to rejuvenate this committee, and so excited to be here. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Robert. All right, Tracy Martins.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy. I'm from Access Point, Rhode Island, here in Rhode Island. I'm relatively new to ANCOR and brand new to this committee, so I'm here for the first time, like many of you. And Access Point supports, or employs rather, lots of people from various countries. So I'm very curious about how their countries support individuals with disabilities. And international travel, who doesn't want to go see what other people are doing and learn from them? So thanks for having me. Happy to see all these faces.
Excellent, thank you. Zach Ray.
Hi, I'm Zach Ray. I'm President and CEO of Sunrise Community. We're multi-state, but we're based out of Miami, Florida. I had the pleasure of going on the India trip and that was my first exposure to the Global Council. So I'm just looking forward to learning more. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. All right, I think I went through the list. I don't know how I did. I'm sure I missed somebody somewhere. If I did, can you just jump in?
Hi, Rita Wiersma from Minnesota, the CEO of Accord. And I've been attending Global Council for several years now. Had the wonderful opportunity to go to India. What an incredible experience, learning opportunity. And that's, we live in a global society, whatever that looks like, and we forget that. So I look at this as my opportunity to continue to learn and be reminded of that continually.
Great, thanks, Rita. Was there anybody else I missed?
Hi, guys. This is Amy Brooks. For whatever reason, it won't let me start my video. But I've been on the Global Council for a while. I've been on several of the trips, and I just love being a lifelong learner. So I look forward to continuing my participation.
Excellent, thank you, Amy.
Hi, this is Mark Dodd. I'm with One Vision. We're located in north central Iowa. This is my first meeting, and like many others, I am interested in, participating in and learning from the collective intelligence that was talked about at Santa Fe, and hopefully at some point in the future then contributing as well. One Vision does not currently provide any international services. We are going to be doing some updated strategic planning, and I feel like this participation in the Global Council will give us an opportunity to determine if that makes sense for us. So thank you for letting me join the council.
Thanks, Mark. I'm not sure if there's anybody else. I saw Genevieve was able to join, who is my co-chair. Genevieve, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Just sorry to be a bit late, but really appreciative, Gary, of you getting us kicked off. I'm the CEO for Keystone Human Services International, based in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, working with our teams in the United States, Moldova, and India. And right now I'm in Glasgow at the Inclusion Europe conference, and they were just having the closing session, which was quite interesting. So coming in off of that to this meeting is quite invigorating. So back to you, Gary.
All right, thanks. Did I miss anybody else?
Gary, I'll jump in now if I could.
Sure. I just want to say, if I only missed 3 out of, I don't know what the total number is. I don't think that's too bad. I don't know what my grade would be in that if we did a percentage, but my kids always told me C's got degrees, so I think I'm pretty good. All right, Barbara, it's all yours.
My dad went to West Point. C's got infantry.
Yeah.
My dad was infantry. And I just wanted to jump in and say, wow, welcome. All of you newcomers. I mean, this is just incredibly exciting. Genevieve, per your request, we recorded, and you're going to love these introductions. So I just want, so I'm, I think everyone knows me, but just in case, I'm Barbara Merrill. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of ANCOR. And this Global Council has just, it is growing, and, what it is accomplishing is really, it's really more so than maybe any other ANCOR member group, member driven. So, what I mean by that is it's really the sheer will and vision of the Global Council members that made it happen. And really, it was all of you that kind of insisted we have a much greater presence at conference. And oh my gosh, were you right? That much greater presence has really yielded big reward, really big rewards in terms of introducing new folks. So I just want to say thank you, and back over to you, Gary.
Great, thanks, Barbara. And thanks for your support in Santa Fe and allowing us to do it and getting the enthusiasm going. We can see it's made a big difference. So just to repeat one thing Barbara said is that I know Genevieve and I and Barbara and Robin really feel that the energy and focus comes from the members. And so if there are things that individuals from the committee want to see, want to do, want to work on, we really encourage and push everybody to bring up those ideas at all of our meetings. As I think the committee will be only as good as it is robust with new ideas and effort put into those. I'll excuse if you hear my partner, my barking in the background. But so I think for today, a couple of things that we want to discuss as the group has gotten larger and will be a little bit more challenging, I think, to run meetings going forward virtually, but we will do it, is to start to talk a little bit about subcommittees and different topics that we want to work on. So subcommittees can work in smaller groups and then report back to the larger group. And I know there were 2 initial ones. I'm really thinking of a third one that maybe we can get going as well. One subcommittee out of when we had our strategic plan meeting, a lot of people were interested in gaining a little bit more concrete information about potential funding sources and ideas to be a partner in maybe larger international projects where maybe you or your organization even just play a small role. And that could be through USAID or the State Department and different things like that. So we were talking about identifying a subcommittee of people who wanted to work on simply, gaining information about, domestic entities and even European entities that fund larger international projects, to start to educate the members of this committee. So that was one subcommittee we talked about. The other subcommittee, which was really mentioned, I think, in our last meeting, and I think it was Mr. Fauzi who first mentioned it, and obviously he has a very strong enthusiasm for consulting and work in the Middle East region, which, that's the largest part of our international portfolio is our work in the Middle East. Of maybe having a subcommittee that exposes others to that, or maybe seeing opportunities in the Middle East, if people want to become hands-on consultants in the region, or even just partners to other organizations who are doing work in the regions. And then the third one I was saying is whether we want to have a subcommittee, Barbara, start to really just talk about study tours and what might be next, and a group to work on that and bring ideas and research that. Those were the three that I thought of. Genevieve, Barbara, I don't know if you had any others or any other ideas.
Not from my end, Gary. I think that's enough to start, probably.
Okay.
Agreed. I think you mapped it well.
Okay. So I guess, I'll let just also and I know this is hard to manage, but if we can just hear from some other people, new members, old members, if there's people who think those are worthwhile topics to work on, does it touch on the things that came out of, our kind of strategic planning and our retreat when we identified, and are there other things that people would like to see?
I think if I may say something, Gary, I think the subcommittee is a great idea. I think, as you know, being in the Middle East, by the way, I'm in Jordan right now working on a program, like a project for early intervention and inclusive education. I think the subcommittees, like if we work on it and if we, start to do some work, I would say there's huge opportunities and there's huge needs in the Middle East and North Africa. Like, I would say, like finding funding opportunities, it will greatly help, the agencies come to the region and do the work and, go back home with some money, you know what I mean? And that cover their expenses, travel, the work, the efforts they put in. And it's a great idea also, like, to bring back some type of work experience in this region. And finding the outreach, the other one is like a lot of agencies, especially in the Gulf area, they're working, and the governments in the Middle East, and they're working really hard to improve services and develop services in the region. They're looking for international partners to be on the ground, to provide consultation services, and just to start that connection. I've been in Saudi Arabia just like a few days ago, and I was at one of the ministries, and they trying to develop services like residential services for thousands and thousands of individuals in Saudi Arabia. They're trying to change the way they deliver residential services. I think it's a great access that we bring them the American experience in residential services in so many ways, like smaller scale, bigger scales, like independent apartments, whatever it is, the opportunities are there. And just like, I think if we really start the process, I think everybody will benefit, from this new experience.
Okay, thank you, Fauzi. And all right, so I saw Bonnie Jean just posted a note. And so, Bonnie, I don't think we were talking about skipping the monthly meetings. I think it would be the model would be the subcommittees would meet between those meetings and report back during the monthly meetings. So I'm not in favor of canceling monthly meetings either. So anybody else have any feelings about the subcommittees or ideas for other subcommittees?
I do now. Just listening, it gave me a bit of a brainstorm now. So one of the things, and it's really important, I think, for new members as well, trying to explore if this is a committee that will, or a council that will fit for you, for what you feel that you can give, but also you want to get out of the ANCOR Global Council. So I know Gary probably did an introduction of the purpose and the opportunities within the council as a whole. That we have spent a lot of time in recent months working on the charter. Someone just asked for that in the chat, which was a great point. I would love to have some participation from members who are interested in making sure that we're really clear in communicating what is the council about, what has our history been, what is the charter, after we put all that effort in, and how can we help Barbara, as you've said, next ANCOR conference to really have a continued growing purposeful activity that's building on this. I think we need to start thinking about that now. So we can maybe put a committee together that's really building from now to next year, holding to the charter, holding to our purpose, continuing to communicate well, and then communicate at the next conference. And I'd love to be involved in something like that if there are others interested.
I support that, Genevieve, because things, as we've learned, right, things get baked earlier rather than later, as our conference has become bigger and bigger.
Genevieve, I agree with you. I'm always interested in follow through and following up on after the study tour, what the impact of the study tour was for the places that we've visited or fundraising that we've done. I think it's important to have that that follow-up information.
Okay, great. So that, if my counting is correct, that would leave us at the moment with 4 subcommittees running. And I think, I'm thinking the best way to, to garner the interest in it and get members to join them. And even, each subcommittee will also require a leader or an organizer to run it and pull everybody together. Is I think, what's worked best for us in the past is when Robin sends out maybe a description of what those subcommittees are to everybody on, and then there's basically a sign-up methodology for indicating which committee you would be interested in being on, and also looking to see who would be willing to lead those committees. Robin, does that make sense, Genevieve?
Yeah, I mean, that works on my end for sure. I will collaborate with you all to detail these subcommittees and then post them, and then we can ask for volunteers once they're posted.
Did you introduce yourself, Robin?
Did I what?
Did you introduce yourself to the full group?
No, that's okay. I'm Robin. I work for ANCOR.
You're more than just Robin.
Definitely more than just Robin.
I met most of you at the conference. I support Barbara and help with events at ANCOR.
This would never exist if it wasn't for Robin.
Really, let's just be really clear about that.
She keeps us straight for sure. Okay. All right, so we'll have the 4 subcommittees. And again, if anybody else feels anything different or wants more, remember this is a committee, a person-centered and driven committee. So please feel comfortable in speaking up with that. And let's see, Bonnie, recommend the subcommittees develop a draft minutes to be shared with the council and think that, yeah. So each committee will have the form of their minutes that will have to report back to the larger subcommittee. Yeah, so and I'm just looking at the notes while we're talking. So Robin myself, Robin, and Genevieve and Barbara will work on just tightening up the definition of what these committees are and the purpose of them are, and then that will be sent out to everybody and asking for membership. And also, we're hoping some people step up as wanting to be the lead or the organizer. And by lead, it doesn't mean that you're in charge of it or you're pushing the topics of the agenda, but just that you're sending out the invites or organizing it along with Robin's assistant and being the lead and maybe reporting back to the larger council at our monthly meetings. Just another note too, we enjoy having guest speakers to the council all the time. They've always been a huge hit in the past. So now that we've expanded the number of people in here, we're hoping also that maybe it improves or increases our access to maybe outside speakers who have some connection to some form of international work. And it doesn't have to be hands-on international work. We've had people, from technology companies, from the Zero Project, from Inclusion International, just to educate ourselves and keep the language going. So if anybody also is aware of people that you think might be of interest to the rest of the group, please also, feel free to put those names out at any point in time. All right. I think there was, another. I think yes. Yes. I think Genevieve's answering some of the questions as well. You can be on more than one committee. I don't think we have any rules or regulations that say you can only be on one and not be on two. It's really whatever you're able to contribute and your time. The other thing we just wanted to mention that the COSP conference is coming up for the United Nations. I know YI will be holding a side event. And Johanna, do you want to just give a brief update about what YI will be doing?
Sure, yes. So we got approved for a side event, and that is titled Informed and Included Strategies for Overcoming Information Barriers. So we're working to get a panel together from different fields, if it's government, if it's communication specialists, and other organizations that have best practices in regards to making their information accessible or offering guidelines on how to make information accessible and overcoming information barriers for people with disabilities.
I'm just asking, and since it's really, can you just give it, your description of what COSP actually is? I forget we have some members who probably would not be familiar with it.
Sure. So COSP is the annual conference where all the state parties come together and report to the UN how they are implementing the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. And around that core, there are always 3 themes for each conference that then have roundtable discussions, high-level roundtable discussions. And around that are side events that are organized by missions or by organizations from civil society like us who have consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council or with the conference itself. And these side events are usually virtual and are organized also around the theme of the conference and are usually attended by the global disability advocacy community and by government or representations from around the world. So it's a good platform to kind of showcase specific needs, but also best practices, which we are trying to focus on with this topic.
Great, thanks, Johanna. And the dates are June 11th through the 13th, I believe, right? I think those are the dates of the conference. Okay.
Yeah, I just
I
threw
don't
a
know.
link, Gary. I just threw a link to the info in the chat.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Robin. I don't know if any Genevieve, is Keystone doing anything this year?
We chose not to submit for a side event this year, but we have been invited to a couple side events that we're considering looking to panel. But one of the things I wanted to encourage people to consider if you're going to participate in the conference, just one, to know that it's not open access. You do need to hook up with an organization that holds consultative status and can get you ground pass, and those are limited. So that's one thing that's important to know. The second thing is, as Gary mentioned, the conference is it starts on the 11th, but there's a day before on Monday, which is the Civil Society Forum. And that is a place where we, the civil society organizations, really come together and have a voice. And I'm impressed with the kind of the direction of the Civil Society Forum this year. So I'd encourage those who can be at the conference to try to make time for the Monday as well. So that's and you can speak from the floor there if you like the 2-minute, 3-minute slots if you apply, and that deadline is the 20th of this month. So there's still some time if you would like to speak to participate in the Civil Society Forum. A second point, Gary, I would love for you and I and Robin to have a place on our connected communities for the Global Council where we can start just publishing all of the sort of conferences that are in our space and in the movement of disability rights, so that everyone knows about those ahead and maybe has a link to find out more information on their own and think about ways to engage. So so Robin, can you help us remember, maybe that's out there already, but I think a formal place that people can always refer back to know what's coming up through the year would be really helpful.
That's a great idea, and I'll definitely follow up with you.
Yeah, and maybe we'll put on the agenda also for our next meeting at the beginning, just a brief show and tell on the connected community, how to get into it, what it is, what it looks like. It's kind of one of those use it, lose it skills. Just because there's probably a lot of people on here who have never been in it or know how to access it or do it. So maybe we could add that to our agenda for the next meeting.
Great idea. Will do.
Yeah. Okay, great. And I saw Barbara post an important thing that the nominations or the application process is now open for Project Zero recognition. Barbara, do you want to just give a quick word on that and let people know what exactly that is and anything about the process? I know we've worked with Robin Tim Weiss and he was happy enough to make his video for us in Santa Fe, but did you want to say anything else on that?
Sure, although I might quickly transition it over to Genevieve because I've never actually attended the Zero Project Conference. It's held annually in February in Vienna?
March. Yep.
March.
Vienna.
And you know what's they put out a call for applications, nominations for practices that are scalable, that you know, just really that really produce the outcomes we're looking for. So this is obviously an international nonprofit that hosts this conference and promotes these best practices. The best practices are chosen you know, by different panels of judges. And it isn't just one standard, you know, so countries are held to different standards. They're kind of held to sort of the standard of their region or country. And this year, they're accepting nominations focused on, let me click into the link, because literally I just saw this yesterday, focused on employment and information and communication technologies. What's exciting is that several ANCOR members have been honored by the Zero Project last year. I think it was just last year. Keystone was honored, as well as the LAD Center. And if you go on their website, I just find it to be a treasure trove of learning about what's happening in different countries by being able to read the summaries of the programs that were selected to be honored by the Zero Project. Genevieve, what would you add to that? You need to put your audio was off.
I know, I'm struggling on my phone today instead of my laptop. No, just that it's on innovative practices, as you mentioned, and that the point of the Zero Project is that together we can create a society with zero barriers, and that's what brings full inclusion, and that also that it's the judges are panels of peers in large part, so that's really also a cool thing, and it's an excellent place to network with others that care about the same sort of values and focus, but might be taking a different angle at what that looks like. And for us, it's really stretched the way we think about our work. So I encourage you to check it out.
Can you post the website in the feed, please?
I cannot on my phone, but I know we will put it on the connected communities, and maybe Barbara, if you want to pop it in, if you have it right there.
You bet. I've got it in the chat. Were you just asking for the website for the link for nominations for Zero Project? I'm just trying to keep on there's a lot of chat going on right now.
That in the
yes, I've got it in the chat, but I will repost to the AC.
Oh, that was way up there. Never mind. I missed that. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's basically zeroproject.org. It's pretty straightforward. So for the main website.
Yeah, I ended up from 2022 when I did the main website. That's why I was a
Oh.
little confused.
You know, Gary and Genevieve, listening to some of the questions and reading some of the questions in the chat, I'd like to offer to do an orientation for new members, if that would be helpful.
Seems like it would be extremely
love
helpful.
that.
Yes.
Right. I'll work with Robin and we'll schedule it. And we'll record it because we'll never find a time that works for everyone.
That's a great idea. Okay, so I see a bunch of people apologizing they're jumping off. It looks like we've reached the top of the hour. So I want to thank everybody for joining, and so exciting to have so many new members. Please keep an eye out for an email at some point describing our 4 subcommittees, what people would like to, and responding to what you would like to be a part of, and also encouraging people to step up and maybe be an organizer or a leader of a subcommittee. That would be very helpful. A little push for original members, like the original 14, 15 group of people. Maybe some of us could step in and provide some leadership on some of those subcommittees, as many people new may not be so eager to jump in, but let's see what happens. At our next meeting, we will definitely put on the agenda the connected community and how to access it and be a part of the ongoing conversation. And Barbara's idea is an excellent one around orientation to new members. So I think that's all I have. Barbara, Genevieve, anything you guys want to close with?
And I just want to remind everybody that I've taken notes for this meeting, and I kind of run them by Gary and Genevieve and Barbara, and then we post all of the meeting notes, and I'll include all the links to what we've discussed. So if you give it just a couple of days, we'll get those posted. So everything we've talked about will be followed up in writing for you all on the ACC, and it'll also go to your emails.
And Robin, if you can copy paste the chat, I think we missed some of the questions in there, so we
Will
can
do.
be sure to answer those in the notes.
Okay.
Yes, excellent. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Nice seeing everyone, and we will see you in a month's time.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bring us some salmon, Genevieve.